so this is all viola, all of it, the upper
This,
harmonics and everything.
yes. Yes. So those are where I cut the string in half, and just tap lightly on the string, and it brings it up, I think, 3 octaves. It's a crazy technique.
Okay, I've done that on guitar with like a tap harmonic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the phrasing's marvelous here, by the way. Great dynamics.
Aw, thank you. I was trying to recreate an original song that is um, the only video game soundtrack I know to prominently feature the viola, and my boyfriend doesn't know much about music, but he knows this song, so when he's like, "You play the viola," he wanted me to cover it, so I did for
Nice.
his birthday.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Um,
Reminds
but
me a
it took me
lot.
a long time. Yeah.
Reminds me a lot of like I can't play like a lot of the old school Japanese scales, like a lot of pentatonic, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's your singing, right?
That is my singing.
Yeah.
I saw a vocal coach before this.
Ah, how would you explain phrasing?
Phrasing is kind of like, you know how water reacts to, like, it can be ripples or it can be giant waves or it could be completely still. Musicians also want to have waves in our music depending on the context, right? So, um, in this case, I really wanted to make an ebb and flow kind of phrasing here. So in the middle of the phrase, you'll have this big swell, and then we taper it down slowly and gently. And string instruments are very, very good at doing this. Hold on, is my is my stream stuttering really badly?
The Discord is yeah, looks like it might be leaking our IDs, and so it's just kind of like, chugging a little bit, I'm sure. And that's
I
good now.
see, I see. Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Um, so you're water bending? Yeah, I guess so. In a sense.
Yeah, so I guess we can do a little bit because there's some theory around it that might help with the concept, but it's always a little bit more nuanced than the superficial theory would suggest. So if we want to kind of frame the discussion,
Mhm.
like a very common structure for phrasing is call
Hmm.
and response,
Yes.
right? And then you have variations of call. Oops, wait, no, or like call, and response. So you have like A, kind of A prime, and then B. But this all, like what you do within that is kind of nuts. There's the options are ridiculous because say if I'm on a
Mhm.
5 chord, which is usually where the drama happens in music, not always, but usually, cadence, you can start to bring out a little bit more like chutzpah, like a little bit more energy, and so you can
Right.
increase the dynamic.
Mhm.
Then there's also like staccato, marcato, legato. There's
Right.
different ways to express how you go in between the notes. And
Yeah.
so when we say like it's more like water bending, there is this between the notes, but there's also an arc and a journey. And then how you handle a phrase previous will affect how you make a decision about the phrase that comes up and that follows up. So it's really
Yeah.
it's very loose. There are theories around phrasing, but I would say actually Indian music theory is a lot more specific. than Western
Mm,
theory. I mean, we have
yeah.
Schenkerian theory, but like, hello, like, mi, re, do, I guess, for everything. It's a little Schenkerian joke, I suppose. But like, yeah, Schenkerian theory is its own thing, and it attempts to explain melody through a Western perspective. But actually, Western
Mm,
theory is pretty bad when it comes to
mhm,
expressing and
mhm,
getting tangible and specific about melody. Indian theory is way, way better equipped to discuss those
mm,
details. So, but yeah, it's its own thing. So when we say phrasing in it, if it sounds like that's a little non-specific, that's because it is non-specific.
mm,
It's kind of a general thing.
mhm.
Yeah, the we're going to talk more about the phrasing because I think that like the opportunity, you're so knowledgeable when it comes to we're good. Because yeah, like phrasing comes up often.
Mhm.
It's a kind of a pretty important thing. It's what gives like the music kind of this like soul.
Yes.
Like right here, this these two straight notes here that come up. Well, that is a really nice decrescendo. Your decrescendos are really good. That's not. I mean, I'm no expert string player. That's always been hard for me on strings. I can barely make a sound, let alone decrescendo. Like this. How much of the bow when you phrase, because like one of the exercises that I would do when I was learning to sing is
Yes.
like pretend I'm doing a cello, right? But
Right.
like, the pantomime doesn't really express how much the bow needs to tilt and how much of the hair you
Mhm,
have
mhm,
on the
mhm.
string. So when you do like a diminuendo, two straight notes and a
Mhm.
diminuendo, and especially something like this, it doesn't seem you're going to hit forte. I'm gonna call it in this tune that you're not
Mhm.
going to hit forte. So how do you? Because dynamics are relative. How do you navigate that?
Right. Um, so I think of it kind of like rationing. So you need to make sure that you ration your bow for the peak of the forte, and then you have to have really good bow control to slow it down almost immediately. So like my peak forte, I'm using like half the bow, and then everything else is the other half of the bow. Bow speed is kind of key. Especially where viola is kind of the awkward middle stage between violin and cello. As you get into the lower strings, you actually get a bow that is thicker but also shorter. The violin has the longest bow, and then the bass and the cello have very short bows, and the viola is in the middle. So we kind of have to understand like just exactly how much bow we can get away with while still being like a lower string player, not quite a violin. We don't have that much bow real estate to go around compared to a violin. So
Hmm.
a lot of the things I learned in college was just like save your bow, save your bow, save your bow until it's time to go, and then you really go for it. You know, you really emphasize the peak of the fortes.
I didn't think about bow speed. That does make sense. Yeah, because when you
Bow
want like a
speed and bow
sforzando,
pressure are the two ways you control articulation on the viola. Um,
here's another word though,
and
articulation.
yes. There's so many articulations you can do with the bow, and even
Yeah.
without the bow. Um, you learn, so many in orchestra, and then if you play in jazz band, you learn so many more. It's just, you know, um, we've got obviously the legato where you're using your bow the entire time, not really stopping in between strokes at all. But then if you wanted to stop the sound, you could do a marcato, which is like heavy, but it has gaps in between the sound. Staccato, which is a little lighter than marcato and has more gap in between the sound, or spiccato, where you're actually bouncing the bow off of the string, very light. Think like Haydn and Mozart, very light sounding. Size.
So okay, you heard it here, folks. Viola has a great size. It's about the motion of the ocean. not the size of the boat when it comes to viola. And only viola, and we're not going to expand on this because monetization. Anyway, but yeah, so a lot of legato here, smoothness between the notes. You can almost think of legato as like syrup.
Yep.
Like,
this is my favorite style of playing, if you couldn't tell.
I can tell. It's my favorite kind of music, yeah. Really kind of indulgent, syrupy.
Yes.
You're far more restrained than I am. I don't have nuance, is the word. This is stunning, though. Ooh,
Aw,
okay.
thank you.
All right, a little accidental there. Accidental meaning, guys, that this is that is an accidental, right? That's not the key.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I couldn't. My solfege is not good. I don't know what it is, but I also don't know where we are in the keys. That matters.
I remember this one being kind of hard to arrange just because it was hard to understand the chord progression. Just because you've got that pedal tone underneath the entire time, and then, I feel it goes harmonically in an interesting place before it resolves for sure.
Yeah. And so, guys, to translate that, the pedal tone, we can think of it that's used a lot in like organ music. So, and which is I think where the actually etymology of the word comes from, is that the organ player will play a note on their pedal. So a very famous piece for this would be da da dum da dee da 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 dum da 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 dee da dum. We have a bat. I figured it makes sense. Da dee da dee da dum 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 dee. It has, I think, D just droning the whole time, if I recall. I think it's
Yes.
D. So that's pedal tone and just sustains. The other one that you shared with me, if we're talking about phrasing,
Oh,
yeah, those who can do should teach. Absolutely. So that word. So this one markedly different in terms of how.
yes, this is much lighter of a style. Way less vibrato, way pulled back. Just the beauty of the melody coming through. That's the goal.
Yeah.
And of course, when you're harmonizing with someone else, you don't want to like outshine them at all. So I really took the violinist's lead here.
Whoa, we need to. Unless you're a tenor, we outshine everybody.
Viola. I'm an alto clef, so I'm closer to an alto than a tenor.
We're trying to educate the people here, Yam, and they need to know. Tenors are assholes. It's important to know. These are the facts. I didn't make them up. What's interesting is that everything's so restrained, it kind of takes time for me to like get the feels, but I do get the feels,
Aw, I'm glad. This was my first time convincing this violinist to be a soloist, so I really wanted to keep it very simple and
Sure.
something she would sound beautiful in, so I could boost her confidence. Because I knew she could be a soloist. She was just very timid.
I noticed the distinct lack of vibrato as well.
Yes, that was kind of a stylistic choice.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And here comes the viola solo. Haha, because I put a viola solo in everything I write.
Why wouldn't you? That just seems like the right thing to do.
Now I'm bringing the vibrato.
Ooh. I love this vibrato from you here. This is very much like how you'll have to excuse how self-centered I am as you've established tenor. The if I'm on a vowel, and one of the ways we can crescendo as singers, and I actually pointed this out in the Marco Meatball video I did, we can adjust how much we open our mouths. But that affects my vibrato. So as you crescendo here, as you're crescendoing, your vibrato increases and then decreases, and it's kind of like, ooh, yeah, I do that too.
Yeah.
You're very specific about like.
I was trained by a teacher who was very, very particular about phrasing specifically. So I would say phrasing is probably my strong suit, just because he would stop me over and over again just until I had it exactly right. And then I gained through that, like, we studied a ton of Bach, the Bach cello suites, where you're just given notes. You have no phrase marks, not even indicating bowing. Just playing the cello suite, and he's like, okay, what chord are we on? Okay, how are we going to phrase this? Like, you can't play this straight. We have to understand where to take time, where to slow the bow down, where to use more vibrato, where to use less. And he was someone who agreed that we should use vibrato with Bach, but not everyone even agrees on that.
I think it's I think that's a wild take. I guess, but I'm a rebel. That's right. That's right. This is how you know we're crazy animals here. Vibrato and Bach. Oh my god, the disrespect. But
I think Bach would use it if it was a technique of his time.
It's just like when people say don't use pedal in Bach. It's like,
yeah.
How about you leave me alone and let me cook? But it's like, listen, Glenn Gould was Glenn Gould. Let Glenn Gould be Glenn Gould. I'm gonna do me. Yeah. Also, Bach, I heard he's dead. So his protestations are a little muffled, 6 feet underground. Oof, sorry, a little brutal. But anyway, like, we play for the living.
Okay, so I abandoned this cover for 6 whole months because I did not know how to put it together. It's not that I couldn't play the individual parts, but I could not figure out how to fit them together. This was a little bit ambitious. Like, I wrote a cadenza that wasn't in the original, and I was just trying to figure out how to fit it in with the original backtrack. I was working on a VTuber concert, completely unrelated to Iron Mouse, but just like another VTuber's concert with another guy named Meister, and I was just like, yeah, hold on, I'm working on this cover, but I can't figure out how to put it together. And he's like, oh, hand it to me. And I was just like, what's that gonna do? Like, he's like, I am a mixer, and I can figure out how to put it together for you. So that's when I learned about audio production for kind of the first time.
Yeah.
Like, what? You mean you can, like, fit things together? What does that even mean? But he very much surprised me, and it turned out a lot cleaner than I originally played it.
Yeah, audio is its own beast. I mean, I was happy to have Lightshard and Saber on schooling me on how to not sound like shit.
Right.
Yeah. Because there's only so much singing technique can do.
Yes.
Yeah. You need, when you're in a form of media, I hear it helps to know the media that you're in.
Right. I think when you're like trained as someone to perform on stage, you have no idea about the digital realm like I did. Like, my professors, they made me handwrite everything. We didn't do anything digitally. So I didn't even have a PC until the pandemic. So I had no idea about this whole other realm of digital music. So all of my covers before this one were just all not produced at all, just into the mic. And I'm slowly learning in my music group Minuet to listen to my producer, listen to Meister, you know?
Yeah, they know a thing or two. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Let's see what the writing on the wall is. I love that you guys in this community invest a ton into the art. You know?
Oh, I draw all my art.
Oh, you
All of
draw
these are
this?
drawn by me.
What
Yeah,
the
my
shit?
VTuber, and all the music videos you've seen so far were drawn by me.
What the shit? Okay, all right, cool points. Okay, I draw stick figures sometimes. Sometimes some of the lines are even straight. Doesn't happen often.
You should cover this at some point. It's really pretty for tenors.
I would love to. I was actually going to ask. This is your work, right? Or is it cover?
This is not. This is a cover of Will Stetson's song. Will Stetson is a. He's a songwriter and utaite.
I don't always know what works for my voice. I imagine you had to spend quite a lot of time figuring out when you're making music in this space. You know, like the viola has a specific tone, you know?
Yes.
And it's like I thought Liber May would work for the tenor voice, but I don't think so. Because as I listen to it, I'm like, Rita's ability to change vocal color kind of makes this tune possible. Whereas I think Rise Again has a lot more opportunity.
Yeah.
So picking the right piece to succeed on is kind of a big deal.
Yes.
Ha! Who did that one? Diggity-boo-boo. Is that a bass, right?
This is the original soundtrack, or the original instrumental, so I have no idea. I did not produce the backtrack.
You know, interesting, because the viola doesn't have like that much cut, it kind of like ends up sounding kind of peaceful, you know?
Yeah.
There's something kind of like oh yeah. Like, how wholesome.
Yeah, we're good at blending, we're not really good at projection. Although my professor was a violinist first, so he worked really hard on projection with me, and I'm just like, why am I doing this? This isn't even what I'm built for.
Yeah. I mean, I know a thing or two about sounding real fucking loud, yeah. So, but like, I like that tone, but it's nice to also have this. It's a different... Very nice and peaceful. What mic do you have for this?
I have an AKG P220.
Oh.
It's a condenser mic.
Yeah. No, I have an AKG C414.
Ah, nice.
I love AKGs.
And this is the cadenza I wrote for this song.
Ooh. Nice retardando.
Thank you.
sorry, to explain, ritardando is slowing down tastefully. It doesn't have to be
Yes.
tasteful, I suppose. So you can make it not tasteful. That happened to be tasteful. So ideally, it is tasteful. You mentioned projection. Right?
Yes.
So, an instrument has a wide variety of tone.
Yeah.
How are you getting when you go for projection versus when you go for like a more chill sound? What are you doing?
So I'm first of all contact point. The farther you are away from the bridge. I should just actually bring my viola up.
Oh, you have a VTuber model for okay, all right.
So the middle part in the strings here, is called the bridge. The closer you are to that, the more grit your sound has. And then the closer you are to the fingerboard, which is the black thing that you put your fingers on, then you get the light, airy sound. So I usually play, when I want to project, I usually play it like closer to the bridge. And then when I, want to get back that more mellow tone of the viola, I will back off from the bridge. And that technique, when you are very close to the bridge, is called ponticello. So if you want that in your music, it actually even squeaks a little bit. So keep that in mind. But it gives you some grit. I don't have my real instrument out yet.
Gotcha.
I don't think Discord will pick it up, unfortunately.
It was worth a shot.
The limitations.
I wanted to be indulgent. Whenever I get these no, I'm not even gonna fucking joke about it. No one here is just an anime girl. They're fucking epic warriors of musical justice, invading my eardrums consensually. But yeah, that's a statement. But I've been like, signing people up to just like they show up in my chat. You want to come in a fucking interview? They fucking they're in the interview. Do you want to play fucking music for me? I'm like a selfish motherfucker. Yeah.
I mean, I could get it out, but I don't think Discord would pick it up well. I think we need to plan for some other audio capture.
Planning? Oh my god! All right, well we'll just have to fuck it. We'll just have to do it again. Fuck it. I'd love to record with you though. Like.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean,
I would love your thoughts on. It's tough to pick pieces that fit.
Yeah, or make them.
There's that too. Yeah. Well, listen. Okay. Hold on. There. I am
all one bow.
All one bow.
All one bow.
Damn. Yeah. So just to educate people, because we're educating. As a tenor, I don't do my own composition. I take from others, kind of like a React channel, if you will. I take from others, and I just do whatever the fuck I want while I look at myself in the mirror. And I think there are notes involved somewhere. I don't know. I'm pretty. But yeah, no, jokes aside, like the composition and arrangement that you do frequently.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. Like how long have you been arranging? When did your interest start there?
Okay. We're getting musician life story now? So
this is what we call a segue. Yeah.
I have been playing viola since the 4th grade when it was introduced to me in the orchestra. We got to play one of 3 instruments. We could pick from violin, cello, or viola. My older sister played the cello, and she was a very small gal, and lugging the cello every day was a huge pain for her, so I did not want to do that. And then my mom said, you can pick anything except for the violin. You're not allowed to play the violin. I don't want to hear the squeaky E string.
Yeah. Yeah, the sounds that are made when someone's learning the violin is nightmarish. It's pretty
Yes.
bad.
I mean, I would eventually student teach, so I understand just how bad it is. But
Yeah.
I picked the viola specifically because I didn't want to lug around a cello and I wasn't allowed to play the violin. But I also grew up with, this is a very obscure reference, but I also grew up with the Professor Layton games on my Nintendo DS. It is a puzzle series. And if you have ever played a Professor Layton game, you know that there is an opening theme to the Curious Village and the Unwound Future. And those are both played by a viola because the composer of the series actually plays viola. And I was very, very like, okay, you know what? I'm not upset with my choice for viola because I love this soundtrack and I'm actually excited to be able to play video game music. That was my goal out of learning an instrument to begin with, was I wanted to play video game music. I wanted to, be able to play all the music I had around me as a gamer.
Yeah.
I was born a gamer, and so I worked hard learning viola through school, and by age 13, I was like, I want to be a music teacher. I love teaching people things, and I love, the viola. I was learning a lot, so I would hold my DS up to my ear, and then I would learn the melodies of my favorite songs by ear. Because again, I didn't have computer. That was
Yeah.
this is how we learn. So I was like, I couldn't wait for the day where I could at some point, record those on YouTube, but I did not have the equipment, so it would have to wait. I went to music college. I went to a community college, not university. A lot of people will go to straight university, but I wanted to be able to save for my tuition because I live in California.
Community colleges in
So,
California are bonkers, by the way, because I got
yeah.
my associates to knock out my gen eds before I went to Temple,
Mhm.
and that's how I met the teacher that gave me free voice lessons, which got me the scholarship as I took a singing class. And I met someone.
Hmm.
This person teaching it was from the San Francisco Opera.
Yeah.
This total badass, and the Butte Community College had like a $1 million recording studio. It was kind of crazy. So
Whoa.
yeah. I don't know how he. I mean, yeah, he got some grants. Dave Elke, great professor at Butte Community College. But yeah, like the community colleges in California, they're no joke. They're quite nice.
Yeah. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to major in, but I stuck with viola performance first. But I was also taking, so I was also percussionist in the jazz band. I played vibraphone, and then I would pick up my viola when it fit because there's some,
It's jazz.
sometimes
It's jazz.
viola works in jazz,
It's jazz. It's all
and
good,
then
jazz. Everything
I was
works.
also taking composition classes, orchestration classes, because I just didn't know. I knew I wanted to be a music teacher, but I also was so obsessed with music that I wanted to take all of my like everything about music just to know exactly what I wanted to do.
Yeah, for sure.
And then at the same time, I was student teaching at a middle school and high school nearby, trying to get internship out of the way. I was like really trying to get to university so that I could get my teaching credentials, and this has been my dream since 13, right? But there was like a mixture of COVID happening. I'm a 2021 graduate, as well as health issues at the same time. So I never ended up going to university. Instead, around 2020, I was starting to stream as an artist. And when the pandemic hit, I was just like, oh, what if I just, start publishing viola music? What do you even do to do that? I guess I need a microphone. And then I was also watching Hololive at the time, and I know you're just starting into VTubers, so I'm sure you're not familiar, but my first VTuber ever was Inugami Korone. She's a Japanese VTuber who sings and plays retro games.
Okay.
And I was like, what if I just make a model and then I can publish my music anonymously
Hold up.
as a VTuber?
You made this model.
I've made all my VTuber models. This one, I had a friend assist in the rigging because I could not get these head angles as good, and I definitely could not rig my own Viola without her. But I did do the design, the art, and everything
Damn.
myself. Yeah.
Yeah. Obsidian was very excited when we were first getting into this. He stayed up all night to look up the C++ code for jiggle physics for the hair, I'm sure. But like, yeah, we were we were looking into what it would take to do Terrence the Tenor of Terror. He has 3 T's in his name because that's how much testosterone he has. But like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, so like we've been looking at it.
Well, if you need help with VTuber design, that's kind of the thing that I got known for, not my music. I'm actually not known for my music. I'm known for my VTuber tutorials and like character design analysis on YouTube. And I kind of gave up on music for a bit because I was so upset about what happened with COVID, and I was also a little upset because my audience knows this. I'm a klutz who can't stop receiving brain damage from hitting my head.
Oof.
I have had 5 concussions, and so that has actually made my like formal training in orchestration and viola a lot worse, a lot less. I've forgotten a lot. I still have my textbooks and notes to reference, but I had to learn a lot of things from scratch again just because I have been like in recovery from so many concussions, and you know, with concussions comes memory loss. So I kind of gave up on music for quite some time. It's not that I never did arrangements, but it was very occasional. I would, you know, keep up with the VTuber Symphony Orchestra where I could, and then if like something really took my focus, like I was really obsessed with a song, like the Writing on the Wall cover, I would write viola occasionally, but it was not my focus for the majority of the time I've been a VTuber. And then Starlight Daryl shows up.
And she saves the day.
Kind of. So I was, you know, I was informed that she was getting, she was looking for an orchestration assistant, and Enva, the pianist, who I was playing with earlier in that trio, came to me and she's like, "Oh, Yam, like, I know you do arrangements and stuff. Maybe this is something that would interest you." And I was like, I haven't written for orchestra since college, and, you know, I've forgotten most of it, but you know what? I love Starlight Daryl. I love her music. She's my hero. I played her songs at my debut, so I just gotta, like, shoot my shot. So I sent in, and I looked back at the email just so I could give you accurately what I sent in. None of it was orchestra. I sent in a Silent Hill 2 viola cover of Promise. I sent in the some piano and violin trios, and then my cover of Writing on the Wall, but I hadn't even recorded that one yet. I just like arranged it for viola, right? And that's all I sent her. I didn't send her any like symphony orchestra scores at all because none of my symphony orchestra scores are digital. Everything I did in college is handwritten in my closet. I mean,
I would love
examples.
To be honest with you, even if you just send me pictures, I'd love to see some of the.
Oh yeah, I can send you
I'm
pictures
a giant fucking
of my
nerd.
terrible handwriting.
That's, I mean, I read on a lot of music from IMSLP, so like
you're ready.
Yeah.
You're ready for the terrible handwriting.
One turn here. Hold on.
Fans is the Synchronicity Hitoshizuku P X Yama series. So there's 3 of them. And I wrote them all out for violin and viola when I was a freshman in high school, and I did it all by ear, and it took me 6 months. And I looked at them just the other day, and they're terrible. They're very terrible.
It's gotta suck before it can get good, though, right?
Yeah, I didn't know what a key change was. I
Ha!
just like wrote out all the accidentals.
Oh my god.
It's
That's
all in pencil.
I respect that though. Literally, you're just gonna write out all the accidentals. There's something kind of like, you know, just belligerent about that I love. Like we're gonna
And then
do
the
this. We're
other
gonna get done.
thing, yeah, the other thing is my treble clef was really bad because I read alto clef natively, so I don't read treble clef or bass clef very well. That's on me. But you know, I got some notes wrong in the violin part, and some of them were too low for the violin to actually play because it was out of range for the violin. There was so many issues with that transcription. I should redo it at some point. But I I did do a lot of transcriptions throughout my schooling, just out of passion, and then I'd play it for myself and no one else because I didn't know how to record.
Relatable. Relatable. Yeah, recording
Um,
opera vocals is challenging.
oh, I could imagine the dynamic range without peaking your mic. I
I have a
don't know
double
how I
compressor
would.
setup on a condenser microphone. I have a double compressor setup.
Oh,
I mean, it's
I
intense.
see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one for
yeah.
the general containing, and then one for the peaks. Yeah,
Mm,
and it's
mm,
still not enough. I still need 2 limiters. Yeah, it's loud. I'm
yeah,
very loud.
I see.
Yeah.
What else did chat say? Let's see. Like previously, I was saying, you know, I kind of put music on the back burner. I've really kept up on the analytical side of YouTube, the YouTube teacher persona, because I gave up on my dream of being a music teacher. Um, I don't think like with my current health I would be able to do it, but being able to teach people on YouTube about a niche called VTubing has been very fulfilling. It like checks the same boxes that I believe music teaching did for me those years ago. Um, so when Starlight Daryl picked me in the interview process based on very very silly covers that I did over the years, I was very shocked because I knew that there were some really, really talented actual orchestrators and arrangers, like people who actually do this, you know, in the running. And so I asked her, like, why did you pick me? Like, and she's like, I feel like you understand VTubing and Iron Mouse and um, what this piece means to all of us the most. So I went with you. And I get that because unfortunately, in a sense, although I do not have something nearly as severe as Iron Mouse, I also, you know, had trained classically, similar to Iron Mouse, and then gave up on my dream due to life circumstances, basically, you know.
Same. By the
So,
way.
oh
Yeah.
no, really?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
It's all
It's
right.
tough.
The industry is difficult. I had some success.
Mhm.
But and I learned this lesson the hard way. I had to learn it a few times. I thought if I pushed through
Mhm.
and I wanted it so bad, I thought that if I just destroyed my health for it, I would be okay to
Yeah.
do it. And eventually, always the same story. I'd start to get traction. I'd start to work with incredible people, and I would just deteriorate. I couldn't keep
Yes.
going, despite like
Mhm.
the spirit was willing, but the yeah
That that hits very close to home, yeah. I mean,
seems to be a
I
common story. Yeah, in this community,
it
actually.
is because I think classical music is like the bar is so high that you either and we're taught basically you either make it or you give up and you don't, right?
That's not what I was taught. Well, maybe people tried to teach me that. I never fucking listened. I was gonna do this no matter fucking what. I don't give a fuck.
Mm.
Like, yeah, no, I've been told to quit more times than I care to count. I just never listened.
That's just a classical music professor thing. I was
Yeah.
literally told to quit because my hands were small,
That's
and that I had
wild.
too much emotion. That I would never amount to anything. Exact quote. You'll
I've
never amount to anything.
I've
That's
been
just
told all
what
kinds
they
of shit.
talk like, you know?
I
So weird.
I would always get encouragement at first because I have a tone like a lot of tenors don't sound particularly good. Um, it's like a because it's difficult to sing tenor. It's not quite a natural thing unless you're like a really light
Mhm.
lyric tenor. Like those guys, yeah, okay, they sit up
Oh.
there. But like
Mhm.
most tenors, it takes time.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of tension that people develop or like weird habits.
Yeah.
And I always was so like my tone quality was always something that people were found very promising. So I got encouragement, and then the second people found out I had health issues, some would lovingly tell me to stop, and then others would
Mm,
not be so kind.
I
Um,
see.
but like this is funny. After my senior recital, my
Mhm.
main teacher was like, I think you should look to do something else." And I calmly said to her, "Nah, because if I don't do this, then I'm going to hit the same wall that
Yeah.
it's going to happen in the next thing that I do. So why would I stop?"
Mm,
And I said it that calmly. She was shocked. I was shocked that I said it that calmly.
mm,
I just didn't
yeah,
give a fuck.
I
Which
see.
was, kind of what I loved about the energy behind the work that you guys did with Music Box of Fate was like,
Right.
I didn't, the idea that production is somehow irreverent totally escaped me until Starlight Darrell told me more about it. I think that like,
Mhm.
she values the fact that you had your own story that you were told to quit and you all said fuck it. There
Yeah.
is something there's something about that piece of music, the Music Box of Fate, that is like special, I think.
Right. I
Um,
think so.
yeah, you guys killed it.
Well, thank you. It it had it was a challenge for me because I had to learn a lot through that project, but I'm glad that I did it because if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be working on a music group that is half digital, half classical, you know. But
Yeah,
I feel like Music Box of Fate was the first time I was ever really introduced to what a digital audio workspace even was.
yeah, those are definitely a
Because
thing. Yeah,
she, it was amazing to me that she recreated an entire symphony orchestra using virtual instruments, and she painstakingly put in all these dynamics and articulations. And then she handed me the recreation and she said, "Can you make sheet music based on this recreation? Here's all the instruments separately. Um, and like I'd love to see like what you can do. Take your time, ask me questions." So we went back and forth because neither of us really understood each other's worlds. A lot of the terms that we use from classical to digital production are also very different.
yeah,
So there was just several times where we just hopped on a call and like helped each other walk through one another's process. By the time I came into the picture, there was already a demo of Music Box of Fate. So, Wonder Riku had already written all the lyrics. There was already a demo of the singing, and obviously there was the digital recreation of the orchestra. So, my job was then I need to translate this digital into the language that classical musicians understand. And because I grew up in classical music, I could, in fact, translate it to sheet music, but there's definitely I was very scared because I had never had any of my work recorded for an orchestra. I had like string quartets and I had solo pieces recorded, but never for orchestra because our final semester was in COVID.
yeah,
And that's what I wrote my symphony orchestra piece to. So I never got that recorded. I never got feedback on any of my symphony orchestra stuff. And now I have Daryl, who's spending a lot of money to record this piece for Iron Mouse, who is like Daryl and Iron Mouse. I'm working with my heroes. Wonder Riku was also my hero for writing Astro Girl for Tsukumo Sana, my favorite VTuber of all time. It was just like so much pressure to get this right. So I cracked open my orchestration books. I cracked open my theory books. I was like, I might have, hit my head a few times since I last studied this stuff, but we're gonna figure it out again, you know.
yeah.
So I went through and I recreated the MIDI. I first started by hand because I didn't even know you could translate MIDI to sheet music approximately. I didn't know that that tool existed. So I did it
I
by
was gonna ask. Oh my god, you did it by ear. Yeah, there's Finale and Sibelius for MIDI conversion for like a nice place to start. My god, you did it by ear.
I did it by ear for like the first month and
For
then
the first month.
so the string parts are by ear, and then the wind parts, they had the approximation, but winds are hard to write for, in the
Yeah.
sense where
Yeah,
you
they are.
hear like if you hear like oh my gosh like Brahms, Mendelssohn, even
Berlioz.
John Williams,
Yeah.
yeah, those those scores that really push winds, you hear, oh, that's what's possible for winds. And for those of you who don't know how Daryl learned, she learned by listening. So she learned this is at the top level, this is what's possible for the instruments.
And that's a dangerous thing, especially Berlioz. Especially Berlioz.
Mm,
Berlioz tried to push specific instruments so that the players would strain for effect. And it led to some
correct.
fucking dope ass orchestration in like the symphonic poems and stuff. But like that was like the one of the first things I noticed when I was listening to Music Box Fade. It was like, whoa, the woodwinds are like, this is good, because that's something that lots. I mean, unless you're a woodwind player, and even then, like the woodwinds, there are a lot of woodwinds, right?
Yeah.
Like yeah, I was like, this is good. This is not normal for like
Hmm.
it's not accurate to call it a pop production. It's not, but it's like it's not like this is just it's just fucking good. I don't know what else to say. Like it's just good. Not good for. It's good. Period.
Right.
And I noticed that I was like, whoever did this, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do have to be very careful. You would have to know how the instrument is played to then write for the top level and know that it's going to turn out okay. Um, and so I have formal training in all strings. I knew exactly what's capable for all the strings. That's not a problem for me, but I don't really have winds and brass training nearly as much. I know the theory of how to write for them, but again, I had never had any of my pieces played live.
Yeah.
And I knew from friends who work in recording orchestras, they tell me, you've got 20 minutes on each piece. And I was like, I would be heartbroken if Daryl doesn't get a clean recording.
Yeah.
So I had to, once it was all transcribed out, I had to then go back in. I, number one, looked at partials in all the brass. And then I also had to then look into like, oh, okay, is this leap gonna be hard? Are these accidentals even possible at this speed? Is this tonguing in the winds possible? And I came across quite a few things where I'm just like, okay, I literally wrote a list and measure numbers and everything for Daryl, and I said, this is what I'm gonna have to change about this part. This is what I'm gonna have to change about this part because I want to be as safe as possible. Um, while also preserving Music Box of Fate.
Yeah.
And I went through every single change with her. Here's the old one, here's the new one, systematically, so that she could approve every tiny little adjustment. I had to like, I was like, oh, okay, this bassoon part's a little high. Let's give it to the oboe. Sometimes it's an easy switch like that, but then
Yeah.
the oboe's playing something else. So now who's gonna play the new like that part that the oboe was playing because the bassoon can't play their part. I it was just a game of Tetris to get all the notes that Daryl wanted there present, and I
It's
think we did a pretty
yeah.
good job.
Pretty good. Yeah, sure. You fucking killed it. You guys did a great job.
Mhm.
Yeah, I literally the first thing that like slapped me across the face, other than my dumbass thinking that like Mouse's voice was pitched up, because like that's such a common aesthetic.
Right.
And especially like I was looking at the anime stuff. I was like, okay, like if you're doing this from an
Yeah.
audio point of view, like yeah, okay, pitched up. And
Hmm.
but like the next thing I say is like this orchestration's legit. This is not common. This
Mm.
is legit as fuck. And particularly when I heard the bassoons come in, I was like, "Yo, when bassoons are good, it's good. When bassoons are bad, oh boy." But like, yeah, bassoons are one of my favorite instruments. They're so fucking like they're so cool,
They
and
are so cool.
the aesthetics that they provide are totally unique. Um,
Yeah.
I noticed also, and I asked Starlight about this,
Mm.
the lack of like contrabass and the lack of
Yeah.
cello for that kind of like fluffy, like lighter, and of course a lot of woodwinds. So you get this kind
Right.
of like I don't know. It's just like like how would you express this? There's like this is what's hard also about orchestration is like it's like mixing with instruments, right? It's not like a science. The theory, like you said, like there are theories and they help, but they are not going to tell you what to do entirely for like choosing on the aesthetics. I mean, there's a lot of instances
Right.
where the principal cellist, is the only cello playing.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
when you were working with that,
Mhm.
did you ever be like, let's slap a fucking fat PH contrabass in here? Like
It
how did
did
that?
add to the string parts a bit
Mhm.
because when we first started working on it, I was just like, this is a little like winds and brass heavy. I really want to balance it out, so I'm gonna bring it. I said I write bottom up. So in a score, the strings are at the bottom and the lower strings are at the like most bottom, the bottom
Yeah.
most. And so I usually when I approach writing, I start with the lower strings. I mean, I'm part of the lower strings, so I'm a little biased, but I will start with the contrabass and the cello. And so when I was starting to learn Music Box of Fate by ear because I didn't know you could transpose MIDI. I was just like,
Blows my
oh,
mind.
the cello and the bass, they're not, so I added them in certain parts. I was just like, oh, supporting octave down, but I didn't want to ruin the style because
Yeah.
I was familiar with Starlight Daryl's work. I was a huge fan before we even started working together. So it's crazy that she turned out just as sweet as she seems, right?
Yeah.
Um,
God, she's fucking cool.
She's so cool
She's
and
fucking cool.
reminds
Like,
me to tell you how down to earth she is when I'm done explaining the strings.
sure.
Um, but I would say like, oh, okay, I want to support here, especially like I call it the tango part, the even far apart, that one.
Yeah.
I added some more heavy lower strings there because I was just like, oh, that's a texture that I think would fit here really well. Because
Let me hear that real quick. Don't mind. Let me add that to the watch
yeah,
together.
yeah, yeah.
It was gonna put the instrumental in, but there's something about this song that like needs Mouse's voice for it to kind
Yeah,
of work.
yeah.
I'm happy that people like when I sing it, but there is something about this that I feel like a coloratura soprano and particularly Mouse's tone adds
Yeah.
to quite a bit. Oops, sorry. No, I'm trying to control it. You got it. And one of the other thing that I enjoy is that no one seems to be when people get famous off of a certain piece of work, it can cause some resentment when like you're just known for this thing and you're
Mhm.
trying to do other things and no one knows you or wants to know you sometimes for the other thing. No one seems to feel that way about this piece. It
Yeah.
seems like everyone seems to be okay accepting the fact that this is bigger than
Mhm, mhm.
them, you know?
Yeah.
Like
So in this even far apart part, I could tell the violins and violas are in octaves, so it's very like open sounding. There's not a lot of harmonic support going on there. So I've just asked Daryl permission to just like go ham in the lower strings to support the dramatic stuff that the higher strings were gonna do.
mhm.
Let me see. Right here, yeah. Bum 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 bum. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and the fact that it's sorry. This is like literally one of my favorite things right here is this the contrary motion of the French horn with Mouse's voice.
Yeah.
It's like it's so good. Right? Like and on I think it's like a half diminished, right? That's being outlined
Yeah, 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 I think so. Let me see.
right here.
Yeah, da, da.
Yeah. Oh, damn. It's like it never gets old. It's so good. Y'all cooked. Whew. Sorry. Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to take her vision and elevate it, but I
Hmm.
wanted to keep her vision intact. So I kind of tried to say, I see what you're trying to do with this. There's these cool articulations that strings can do that you don't know about. Like that I would love to introduce you to. So that was a lot of our calls of just me like, I love what you're doing. This would make it even cooler. And every single time she greenlit everything I said, just like, do it. I trust you. And I'm like, I don't know why you trust me, but okay,
Yeah.
I'll do it, you know?
Yeah. No, like she probably, I mean, when she heard your stuff, and maybe I'll if well, hopefully I have a chance to talk to Daryl soon, because like
Mm.
she seems uh, legitimately like an infinitely interesting person, though maybe that's just my bias because she played Mega Man X on my stream, and I'm like, oh my god, the fucking metal guitar doo ba doo ba doo doo. I'm like, yeah. But
Yeah, so cool.
the I imagine she chose you because so I work with two editors, um,
Mm.
and I didn't like find them. I wasn't looking for editors.
Mhm.
I'm part of the YouTube partner Discord,
Yeah.
and someone needed a voice actor,
Mhm.
and I submitted just like for fun because I like voice
Yeah.
acting,
Yeah.
and I submitted is golden him here here. He said no, but I like when you were just talking. I was like, oh, okay,
Mm.
all right. Well, I wanted to do a voice, but okay. So I worked
Mhm.
with him, and his creative energy. This is too boring.
Mm.
Like it was a really well crafted piece of art. He told a story about like a fallen king in a Minecraft video. Like it was very clear. He got it.
Mhm.
And he wasn't the most technical. Certainly didn't know how to code, and a lot of my workflow is automated. So I code a lot of the tedium out of video editing for
Oh, very
YouTube.
cool.
Yeah. And so I taught him he's willing to learn, and he did. And then his friend was also being exploited, I felt, financially. And I was like, well, and he was more comfortable with coding. And they both loved the shit out of YouTube. And I could have probably, with the amount that I'm end up compensating them now, I probably could
Mm.
have gotten like an intern from like a university.
Mhm.
But working with them, they love it, and so they do things that they just don't need to do, and it's
Mm.
awesome, you know. So that you got it, you know, that you had a love for it, because there are a lot of people like classical music has a lot of privilege, and it's actually hard to
Right.
know who did it just because they were told to do it as a kid and never
Yeah.
touched grass and never did a practice room,
Mhm.
and who actually fucking loves it. So, you know, I don't a lot of those tango decisions probably would have escaped a lot of orchestrators, because who the fuck thinks of tango?
Master Piazzolla, you know?
Yeah, yes, Piazzolla. Yeah, I was actually going to bring up Piazzolla. Yeah, like
Oh,
you get like like that's the hipster. Like
is that
hipsters.
really? Oh, man.
Yeah. Oh my god. All the fucking theory and composer majors who were like, I love Piazzolla. Like, it's like,
I
yeah, okay,
am
guy.
a theory nerd, unfortunately, and it
Right, but like you're
sucks because
coming
a
from a
lot of
different
my
place with it.
yeah,
You're actually like you
true.
actually love it. And I do know people, by the way, who like, yeah, they grew up with it and they were pampered and all that, and they too love it. But like, I don't know if they would have done the same thing, because like they're like it's barely or like it's Berlioz or bust, or this isn't Beethoven, and I don't think they would have given the same love and attention that you did. So I think she chose right.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. I mean, I tried to rise to the occasion the best I could, and I was just like really not confident. Because again, I never wrote anything for symphony orchestra outside of college, and then I forgot most of my college training. I could obviously I wrote notes. I have textbooks. I could relearn, but to have so much writing on a project when you haven't picked up that skill in years and definitely never had anything recorded was very nerve-wracking, especially because I didn't know like how cool Daryl would be at the time. I thought she would really be scrutinizing what I did and like being like, "Oh, I thought you knew how to orchestrate." When I asked her
Are
questions,
you
like,
saying you thought she was a like a classically trained classical motherfucker? Like every other fucking professor? Like, why don't you quit, small hands? Like, aren't you my teacher? Why are you being a dick? Yeah, no, Daryl is so lovely. It's actually preposterous. Yeah, no, but like, I'm glad that you guys worked together on this and were able to
Yeah.
fucking produce the magic that you did.
So she was just so sweet the whole time, and at the time I was recovering from a head injury, obviously, and then like it was a low time in my music point because I kind of just stopped playing viola at that point, except for if the VTSO needed another viola to record. Um, but something crazy, like the moment I knew that Daryl was the coolest was not actually working on Music Box of Fate. I already thought she was the coolest. Actually going to Offkai.
Offkai?
So Offkai is a convention specifically for VTubers.
Oh
So
shit.
off is like off, right, in English, and then kai is the meeting. So it means offline meeting, meaning the first time you're meeting other VTubers offline.
Isn't that happening
And
again soon?
yes, and I will be there again with my music group Minuet, and I'm hoping to meet up with Daryl again. Hopefully we can jam together.
I wouldn't
Um,
mind. Where is it? I
It
wouldn't
is
mind
in
going.
San Jose. It is in July.
Maybe I make
If
a
you
trip
want
out
to
there.
meet with us,
Yeah, I might
if
do
you
it.
want to meet with us, I will bring
Legit.
my instruments and we can play something together.
I would love to.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
that would be great.
the impact that, yeah, no, I mean, like, this is such a common story with
Mm,
this work. Um,
yeah.
that Music Box of Fate, like, and it's so cool that behind the scenes, actually, people are having the same
Mhm.
story.
Right.
And I asked
Yeah.
Lightshard, like, how was it working on the audio for it? And he was like, life changing. And
It
yeah,
really was.
it's a
Yeah.
common theme. It's like, for all the people telling me to quit, I never listened until it was me saying it,
Mm.
for my own reasons. And
Mhm.
I can't listen to this song and not want to sing, you know?
Well, if you do make it to Offkai, we've got a pianist, we've got a viola, a violin. I can probably get some brass, and you can sing off like Music Box of Fate with us live. We'll do it in the key you want.
Just a half step down, which I'm sure is
Oh,
probably a
oh,
pain in the
half step
ass.
down. No,
I can do
actually.
it in the original. I just can't do the high C. I can actually
Mm-mm-mm.
do the D in a weird like
Uh-huh.
voix me kind of thing. I think it would project. Actually, it's quite loud. Maybe I can do it on. It's a weird thing that I can do with my voice that I
Mm-hmm,
discovered. It's like metal almost. It's not quite operatic. Sing the bells, 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 bells of Notre Dame. Like, yeah. So like I have C sharp up to F sharp 5, but I have this weird
mm-hmm.
hole around B and C. So even the B is
Ah,
inconsistent.
I see. I
To be
see.
frank, yeah.
Well, we can adapt to you and make it happen because that's like the spirit of the song.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Making
mean,
it happen.
yeah, the original key ain't so bad for me. Yeah, I can do it. I can do it in the original. When it comes to the for you that part with the high
Uh-huh,
C,
uh-huh.
we'll just need a fucking button that plays mouse. You know,
I mean,
which feels
well,
appropriate actually. Like,
it
actually,
does,
you know,
yes.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. Like
love
I have this
musicians
weird.
that just jam and like make plans together. That's my favorite thing about the internet right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. No, I'd love to take a trip out there. I mean, this has been transformative enough that I would
Hmm.
absolutely do that. And I'm lucky that I have, I'll have to ask my friends obviously, but they've always been willing to take care of Blitz. And he's looking longingly at my lap as he sits from across
Aw.
the room. But yeah, it'd mean a lot to me to actually like
Yeah.
meet and play with you guys. It's
Heck yeah.
dope.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
B
We'll
sharp
we'll
and
get
C
it
flat don't exist
arranged.
anyway. Listen, listen, kimchi acid, nonsense. B sharp and C flat absolutely exist in my soul. Um, but yeah, that would be dope. Yeah, I'd do that. That's enough time for me as well. I don't know if everyone's already probably figured out their Airbnb situation, but I'll try to. I'll see what I can do. Um,
I will add you to a Discord and we can talk about it.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But last year at Offkai, I was performing with the VTSO, the VTuber Symphony, as the violist there. I I'm just gonna say it. This isn't something I say on my channel normally because I don't want people feeling bad about me, but I have a little bit hard time getting around, and it's a little bit hard for me to perform live. I had to quit orchestra formally because I can't consistently make it to performances, just with my health and everything. So I went to Offkai because it was actually we were just doing a meet and greet. It wasn't on a stage or anything, and it was really low key. I think I just tweeted about it like 10 minutes before we went live. I didn't really tell my audience about it because I didn't want anyone to be disappointed if Yam didn't show up, you know? Um, and we were just playing in the balcony of the convention, and so I didn't expect to have even like maybe just like some passerbys just like say hi or something. Didn't expect anything. Lo and behold, Daryl made it to the performance. She not only made it to the performance, but the moment I was done playing, she ran up and hugged me and
Oh man.
was just like, "You sound so amazing." And I was just like, "How did you, like, you, the composer of Music Box of Fate and like who works with all these like crazy popular VTubers. You could be hanging out with anyone, but you decided to pop into this really tiny performance from your, someone who's just helping you like transpose a score." And I I knew from that point I loved Daryl. Like I already loved Daryl, but like as a person.
Yeah, I mean, there's always that difference between knowing someone's work and knowing them. Like,
Right.
there are people who, are like, because I go off and I might have complimented Daryl once, 50, 73 times more even in a single sitting. So people like there's been some comments about like shipping and all that, and it's like I don't know this person. I love their
Right.
work.
Right.
And
Right.
the two conversations I've had insanely cool. But yeah,
Right.
it is nice when someone's not a dick. Which, by the way, would be the thesis of your video essay that you're making on how to
Yes.
grow your social media
Indeed.
presence is don't be a dick. Yeah.
Right. But there's a thing that I call in this industry called Disney magic, where you seem like a good person outwardly on your socials, and
Yeah.
everyone plays the social dance around you to hype you up and make you seem like an even better person than you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when Daryl showed up to that performance, I knew, oh, it's not just for looks. There's no optics in this. There's no optics for her showing up to this performance that, the most of the world doesn't care about, isn't even on the Offkai flyers or the website or anything, right? She did that out of genuine kindness. And just I think part of me, because I had a very strict teacher who didn't show up to my performances because he wanted to make sure that I knew he didn't care.
Ouch.
So, for context, I was in a concerto competition for Baroque viola playing. I played the Telemon concerto to the California State Nationals in San Francisco.
That's actually really that's some shit. Yeah, that's actually legit as fuck. So, by the way, folks, concerto competitions are stiff. They're very, very stiff. Like at Temple, the guy who won, I haven't talked to him in a while. We used to be closer, but Mark Lipschitz. He won the Temple concerto competition like 2 years in a row. Now he is the personal accompanist for Yannick Nézet-Séguin. I don't know if you know who that is, but
I do actually. That's very cool.
Yeah, Yannick is a big fucking deal. That's the conductor of the Philly Orchestra and now also the Metropolitan Opera. And Mark's a personal accompanist. So that's who competes in concerto competitions. So you competed in a concerto competition.
Yes. And my professor, he did show up to that one. He
He
did
better. Those are
probably.
not fucking easy. Yeah.
However, by the third movement, so there's 4 movements in the Telemon. By the third movement, sorry, like he was on his phone for the first 3 movements.
Dude.
The third movement, I see him get up from his chair. And I was just like, oh, is he gonna like come up? What is he doing? And I see this guy actually looking for a place to put his phone charger because his phone had died from him sitting through my concerto. And it just made me realize how little he cared about my performance. Like, he only cares about my performance when he's berating me, you know?
Unfathomable.
But he was just looking for a phone charger because I was playing too long, I guess, you know? Meanwhile, like, I'm like,
As if you have an
this
option
is,
because the conductor, but yeah.
I was
I'm
just
sorry, Yam.
like, no, I mean, I transferred schools after that because I knew,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, fuck that guy. Sorry.
he
Not to get you in
didn't care
trouble.
about my future, you know? I worked really hard to learn the Baroque style of playing for him because he's the one who pushed me into Baroque in the first place. I like Romantic
Yeah.
more than Baroque,
Yeah.
but he really pushed me into Baroque. And I I did I didn't win, obviously, like
Yeah.
concerto
It's
competitions, but
yeah, it's fucking.
I did get a scholarship out of it.
That's dope. And just to be clear, I don't know how this particular competition works. There's a screening
Mm,
process because not everybody can just fucking stand up there with an orchestra. You know,
right,
they don't waste time like that. It's
right.
so you have to admit you have to enter. Did you have to do what was the screening like for that?
So the screening was actually that there were judges that were going. It was specifically a community college run thing. So they were going
Mm,
from the state community colleges around California, and the adjudicator. You know, my professor pushed me to. He's like, okay, play the Telemon for them. You know, it wasn't even my choice.
yeah.
Um, I would have not picked the Telemon. I don't really like the piece, but I played it on my like regular instrument without any of the Baroque fixins, except for just like tuning my instrument down. But I wasn't playing on gut strings or like Baroque period bow at that point, and
Yeah.
I was thinking like I was kind of phoning it in because I was just like, this isn't like my choice. But the lady picked me, and I was just like, why? Like, there's violinists here playing freaking
Paganini or something.
Paganini,
Yeah.
and you picked me playing the Telemon, which is like, in my eyes, a concerto I learned when I was in middle school, so it wasn't even something impressive to me.
Yeah, but it's interesting how those things go. Like, you know, we discuss this with Mozart. Mozart is often good competition material,
Right.
because you don't have anywhere to hide.
Yes.
So like, I often would audition with. I don't do it anymore. Well,
Mm.
mainly I don't really audition anymore, but I wouldn't do this piece anymore. But I would audition with a piece that is often seen as like a beginner piece, but I
Mhm.
love it. So it's from Le Roi 10. It's Venement
Uh-huh.
ma bien-aimée, and I think it's
Uh.
a wonderful piece. Yeah, like, puisqu'on ne peut fléchir ces jalouses gardiennes, ah, laissez-moi contre mes peines, aimez-moi. Like, and I put that love into it because I love the piece, and so people
Oh.
that is the piece that got me my scholarship to Temple, was singing that one.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
and I have that the thing that I do that's kind of like metal up
Mhm, mhm.
there. I don't
Mm.
know if I can do it right now. La, 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 je resterai toujours, toujours. So I would do it pianissimo, and it like kind of
Mm.
cut. I would have to. I haven't done it in a while. I'd have to shift the vowel a little bit
Mhm.
to get it the way I used to do it, but like it rings that tone, so it does cut.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any body
Mhm.
to it, but it cuts. So I would do that, and people were like, "Oh shit! Like he can do pianissimo on these high notes." And I was like,
Wow.
"Not really. It's kind of a trick. I don't know. I don't know. I actually don't know other tenors that do it. I know metal singers who do it, but I don't know. Actually, that's not true. I did go to the Met once, where I heard it
Mm.
done, and everyone around me was like, oh, I was like, oh, but I do that shit. So there's a place for it, you know. But
I see.
that aria showed that off as well. So like, yeah,
Mm,
there's a lot that goes into thinking about like when you compete, when you audition, when you yeah. So
right.
um,
Right.
yeah, but like showing off, even if it's simple, it's a risk
Hmm.
for sure because people are coming in with
Yeah.
Paganini. So you better be
Right.
fucking crushing. Yeah. So it sounds like you crushed.
I think I think my professor would give me really simple stuff on purpose because he wanted to showcase, and I say this with as much humility as I can, but he wanted to showcase the fact that I have an above average tone rather than I have above average skills. I do not have dexterity. I am really
Mm,
behind when it comes to agility, but I
sure.
know that my viola tone is pretty. That's why I cover things like the Bloodborne, because I'm just like, oh, that's going to showcase my strength.
Yeah.
So
My roommate was like that.
I
She did meditation. She competed with meditation for violin.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Ah, yeah, at least his tone
Yes,
was
that's a
fucking
very
amazing.
tone forward
Yeah.
um song, but I don't know. Baroque music is half because I associate it with that professor, but the other half it's just not my passion.
Hmm.
So it was pretty miserable to prepare this entire concerto, get to that level, and then see that he didn't show up. Like if he did show up for something, he would just like be on his phone. So for Daryl to show up to a much minor performance compared to my professor, it just showed me that she cared.
Yeah, of
She
course.
genuinely cared about me and my passions, which, at the time I was playing with the VTSO, so that was like what she could do to support me. And it's just like, why are you supporting me? Like, this, you hired me, you paid me the money, your obligation to me is over, you know?
Hmm.
But she actively, for the rest of Offkai, because of my physical limitations, she actively sought out to hang out with me because I couldn't be out and like partying with everyone,
Yeah.
but I was in my hotel room. She would legitimately text me. She's like, "Hey, I want to meet up. Where are you?" And I was like, "In my hotel room." She's like, "Can I bring one to Riku?" And I was like, I guess so. I would like." And so we literally just sat and talked about life, eating international snacks with the VTSO, and she came
Fuck
to
yeah.
me. She went out of her way to come to me with my, limitations, and I knew that like her heart was incredibly genuine just from the way she interacted with me, because she could have been networking or partying or doing literally anything else at Offkai, but she sought me out even though I'm not the party girl, I'm the indoors girl.
I tend to be the same. I barely function with like all that
Mm,
stimulus and all that shit.
mhm, mhm.
It's hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, but like that's fucking dope.
Yeah.
yeah, that's fucking rad. Sounds like a redemption arc. You know what I mean? Like she
Yeah.
was
And
one
then
bat in a world. She was
she kept
denied. She studied with an asshole. But then, one magical Starlight Daryl and Yam. Arnold
I can see
Schwarzenegger
the
is. I don't know. Sorry.
I can see the passion for voice acting.
It's
But it
a.
was
Yeah.
Daryl who encouraged me. She's like, "Yeah, your stuff is too good. You need to keep going. You need to keep going." And so I I hit my head again just this like 6 months ago.
Mm,
And that caused me to even have to leave the virtual YouTuber orchestra because I can't even keep up with orchestra virtually at this point, which is, just so sad. But at like my lowest point, I was just like, okay, what do I even do? I want to keep doing music. Daryl has made it clear that she wants to hear my stuff. So I decided at that point, I was just like, okay, I need to like continue. So I started like doing some really, really low commitment cover songs, just cover songs with
Hmm.
my friends, Meister and Princess Raska. Princess Raska is the violinist with the pink hair that you saw earlier in the trio, and then Meister's the one that made me sound good my covers. Um, and ever since I hit my head, the two of them have been like, yeah, I'm just like hand in your parts, I'll take care of the rest. We want to make music together, and
Yeah.
Meister's been teaching me like, oh, here's how you use a DAW, so you don't have to write everything down in the sheet music. And they've been, you know, through my health struggles, they've been the ones like really helping me to still do music and keep it in my life. So I was just like, well, heck it. I'm a VTuber manager. I know social media marketing. What if we just like make this official with an official name because we've been doing so many things together.
Yeah.
So now I'm starting a VTuber group to publish, you know, some of my original songs, some of Meister's original songs, but most importantly, we have like a space for me to, you know, be supported in my musical endeavors, even with my bat brain, my limitations and everything. My friends have been taking care of everything for me, and I'm like incredibly grateful to them to see like, oh, you know, like we want Yam to continue doing music. And you know, it's crazy the people who have come around me in the VTuber sphere to get me to keep going even though like life keeps smacking me in the head.
I mean, I get,
Yeah.
I kind of get the appeal.
Mm.
Like I don't know. Obviously, like we've talked twice,
Mhm.
but general vibes, you pass with flying colors. You seem like a fucking really wonderful human being, yeah.
Oh, thank
So,
you.
like, it's yeah. So the yeah, damn, fucking. I didn't expect your story to be so fucking epic. Um, you should like make like a VTube thing about it, I guess. Oh wait, haha, already. Anyway. Sorry. Yeah, damn, girl. Like the resilience is really commendable. Um, I'm glad you're sticking with it. It's like, yeah, you do have a really sick tone. That Bloodborne thing is.
Oh,
I
thank
love that.
you. I mean,
Yeah.
Viola has a great tone. Like the instrument itself has a great tone. I just need to bring it out. But you know, the viola is something that I really want to get more love on the internet just because it's not one of those really known instruments. And violin and viola together in a duet sounds like it's just meant to be.
Yeah.
Like I love violin viola duets, so
Almost like they were
to have
designed.
a music group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost like they were crafted from the ground up to work together. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. But
Music
the
group where I just get to write mostly duets for those two instruments. I'm just like so stoked because it's like it's working with peanut butter and jelly. It's perfect, you know?
I mean, here's the thing though too, like yeah, it's viola, yeah, it doesn't have a very wide audience necessarily, but also like a differentiator is a big deal in marketing, right? So like it's your differentiator. Yeah, maybe small TAM, but definitely probably loyal listeners. And also you never have to tell anybody. You just say it's a really small cello for anybody. Like
Well,
it
that
just
is
go
true.
yeah.
Fun
So
fact, the viola is closer to the cello than the violin, even though it doesn't seem like it.
I mean, when I hear the Bloodborne thing, I hear it. I hear it. I'm like, oh snap! Yeah, that is more close to a cello.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, it's got the same strings as a cello, just a complete octave up. The thickness of the strings are closer to a cello. The only thing like limiting it is the body size, but if you had a giant viola, it would just be a cello. Whereas the violin actually has like some differences in like again the bow, the strings, and the way the body is shaped for it to project and carry. So
yeah,
it's just like more shallow but brighter to carry over everything. Whereas, you know, the rest is the lower strings were more similar to each other than the violin.
yeah.
Yeah.
Man, fuck! I want to make music with you. I don't know
Yeah, let's
how
go. I'm gonna make you sing something.
you don't have to threaten me with a good time. Yeah, I don't know. I'm
Mm,
so I think what I've realized in because I was trying to learn like how I would compose and how I would do all that. And the second I found myself like, like reaching for AI tools, I'm like, well, clearly I just don't like this that much. You know what I mean? Like that's the sign.
See.
It's like I was like, oh, let's maybe play with these things and then rip the backing tracks and do all that. And I was like, fuck all this. Like I clearly this is not for me because the problem with AI is you'll never get good. Like you just don't
Right.
have the control. So
Correct.
and if you're not making decisions, that's where I mean it's a little reductive, but I think you can agree generally it's a good. Like you can determine someone's artistry by the decisions they make. If you're not making the decisions, what are you doing? So
Yeah.
but then when I was starting to sing Music Box of Fate,
Yeah.
I clipped it.
I heard your singing, and I think I really like some of the decisions you made, like the phrasing differences that you made, like lengthening some of the notes, and your vibrato is killer, man. Oh my
Thanks.
gosh.
I worked really hard. I worked with a specialist, and actually, I have I'm trying to schedule a voice lesson with Diane. So like because of the financial support that folks have had for the channel, and because I
Uh-huh.
you know don't know how to make a good business decision, so instead of like parking the money and like testing or doing whatever, I'm just like fuck it. I talk a lot about Diane on stream, so I haven't had a voice lesson in a really long time. So I'm going to work with Diane.
Mhm.
My obsession has been ergonomics because I hate feeling
Ah.
strain when I sing.
Yeah.
So like it kills it for me. So like one of the reasons I just like launch on some of these notes is I'm like, it's not a fucking cut loose knuckle crack. We're gonna pretend I crack my knuckle. I can't do it, but like yeah, that phrase, like I think it starts I think in the original that phrase. This is my favorite. Like she goes like punches it, Mouse does. And that's fine. Like, right? It's like no rules on phrasing as we established. I'm trying to sound like I know what I'm talking about. And when I look at your face, you're so cute that I forget words. So I need you to step down. There we go. But like, yeah, I don't know, Riku just fucking cooked with this one. This phrase is so crazy. Like the lyrics are also crazy. And general rule in music is if you have something that repeats, you have to do the thing differently. So, but like pianissimo in this range is something I can do. I'd go to hell and back again, heaven and earth I'd move, and then for you every single sin I'd repent, but it's too late to pretend. Like, yeah, I have a hard time with that B is brutal.
Yeah, that sound, well, I will send you. I don't know if I can find it, but you can see what it's like for me to sing Music Box of Fate too. I tried. Like I can play it on viola, like no problem, but some of those leaps are so brutal on someone who's not trained. I obviously had to be trained enough to like take classes, but other than that, like I am not trained at all. I'm a soprano by default just because I can't reach the low F for an alto. So but it just goes to show you like this stuff is no joke. The fact that Mousy could even sing it is crazy to me because I definitely can't. Like
the leaps of the fucking to a B on F. I mean, it's fucking
they're not
nutty.
even like easy intervals a lot of the time.
No, they're not. They're not. You know what? It reminds me so much of Mozart, which is kind of my shit. So like it actually works with my voice really well because like that's my speciality. Like if I have one, would be Mozart. So like that it does that with the exception of like fucking to a high B. I mean, like son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So I take it down to the half step for that reason. But like there are aside from like if my B was better or more consistent, like the things I can do with my voice in that range, I have so much control, which is abnormal for a tenor to have control in that part of their range. So it's like it really does highlight my shit. Sorry to during an interview with you to big classic tenor move just talk about me for like the entire time.
No, I thought we were yapping about classical music. This
fair
is,
enough.
I don't.
Yeah, but like the Yeah, the difference is I don't know. Like I don't have. Someone said something. I forget what their parallel was. They were like when she sings it, it's like she does want the world to burn. There is like an anger in Mouse's interpretation.
Yes.
Um,
Mhm.
Whereas to me, I think there's I don't think I know. There's like a longing. And it's
Yeah.
different. And it's not to say that like this again. This is kind of all a little reductive. But, it's like there's so much in her interpretation, and it's just yeah. But the
Mhm.
piece by itself speaks to me. I've
Mm.
after I listened to it like once, I started walking around the house
Yeah.
singing it like thinking about my old man and stuff. So yeah, get a little misty with it. But yeah, you guys cooked, man.
Aw. I
But that
mean,
yeah
this was the song in my brain for, like I think we worked on it for 3 months, but then I had to do the VTSO version really quick, so then,
yeah
that one was in my brain for a long time, and then I did the Viola version. I did 3 versions in 6 months, so this I lived, ate, and slept in, like, this piece for half of, last year.
yeah God. So when it comes to making music,
Mhm.
I guess the point I was trying to make is like I'm not great with lyrics. I'm not great with writing. I
Mm.
don't even know if I'm that good at arranging. I can do harmonies. That's fine. I've been in so many fucking
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
choirs throughout the years, laying down harmonies and stuff. And it's wild to me that actually a lot of singers don't do that. Even opera singers, it's kind of wild to me that they don't just throw in harmony because opera chorus is fucking. That's some shit. Opera chorus is its
It's
own animal.
metal.
It's so just oh, it's just fucking gigantic, just sound, just walk, fucking bam, wall
I
of sound.
have a question about it, though.
Hmm.
So, a lot of the time in orchestra or even string quartet, we're told you need to keep the vibrato down a little bit because when you're harmonizing with really thick vibrato, it can be a problem. And so when you're doing harmony with opera, do you guys have to actually match your guys' vibrato speed?
No, not an
No.
opera.
Okay.
No, we don't think about it
Mm,
because
okay.
it's
Okay.
part of the like. I can even lay this one down for you. Do I have it? On? No, not that one. I'll lay something down for you. That's the Megalovania, which is that is
Maybe.
opera chorus. Let me just lay down something for you. So that you can tell that there's like a buildup of the frequencies that's a little problematic, but
Yeah.
that's the sound.
Oh, yeah, it works.
Yeah, it's epic as fuck.
It sounds so cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love the sound of opera chorus. Yeah. I was in good voice that day, so I could do all these higher harmonies. Like those are, I think those are some B flats and shit that I'm just soaring on. Like kind of fun.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, but yeah. So everyone knows what I'm talking about. I'll just play it for the stream real quick as I flash away myself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna use the bathroom while you do that really quick.
Absolutely, yeah.
From the start, you shone brighter than heaven's star. The fire and the light against the wills of God will fight, tracing the sound.
Boom.
Oh, how your song
This song is so dope, dude.
sounds, eternally bound to you.
Oh, you're right, Kenobi. Thank you.
For you every single sin I'd repent, but it's too late to pretend. There's a chance I could.
I have to retract some of these things they clipped, but
So with the last
The instruments could play.
yeah, but like something like this, it is a very uncommon thing for an individual to make something like this transcendent. It happens. It's not common, you know.
Never occurred to me that like after I quit orchestra that I would ever work with an orchestra again, just because I'm
You
such a
didn't just work with
layperson.
any orchestra too. Like you worked with like a top tier world class orchestra. Like you orchestrated for like one of the best orchestras in the world, Yam. Like
No, I don't understand. I don't understand how it happened. To this point it's still surreal.
Yeah.
It was surreal also going to the world premiere of it because oh my gosh. I don't think so. The Fantastic Reality Concert was where Music Box of Fate was originally premiered. And, you know, I was invited to the premiere, but not only was I invited to the premiere, Daryl really wanted to make sure that I could see it because, again, I'm limited in my traveling, but I'm also limited in my standing. And the venue was a standing mosh pit venue, and so
Oh,
I was
damn.
just like, I would love to go, but that's not gonna work for me. So Daryl was like, I'm gonna get you in the VIP lounge with a like disability accessible sofa. There's gonna be guys, they're gonna roll out the sofa just for you and your boyfriend to sit.
Fuck yeah.
And sure enough, there was like a reserved seating just for me.
Okay, hold
Um,
on. I just gotta. This is like the quote of the week right here. Starlight Daryl, why are you so fucking cool? Anyway,
She thought of everything. She literally made that happen for me. And I am not to like I'm not putting myself down when I say this. A nobody in terms of socials, okay?
sure,
You know,
but like, yeah.
I'm
I
not the
mean,
biggest. That balcony like had at the time Mouse was still with V Shoujo, so there was all the V Shoujo people up there, and then there was also Iron Mouse's friends up there and everything. And then there was me, just a regular girl on a sofa with her boyfriend who you know, shout outs to Leo for driving me all the way to LA and like helping me get to the venue and everything. And
way
you
to be a
know,
fucking gangster, dude. Way to be supportive. Yeah.
my boyfriend doesn't know anything about VTubers, so him going to a VTuber concert and like reacting to it was very funny because he didn't know anything that was going on, but he was very supportive of waiting to the last number, which was Music Box of Fate, and then helping me record it and everything because I was just like, you know, so many people. My stories, like moral of the story for me, is just I have so many great people around me who have propped me up and allowed me to continue doing what I love. And I wouldn't have been able to do it alone. But I it had to occur to me that I am someone who is now going to my world premiere. Like what does that mean? Like going to a world premiere that I orchestrated. What how it was so surreal, and I think a lot of people were in that balcony were like, "Oh, who are you?" Cuz like a lot of big names up in that balcony, and then there was just me, the only girl sitting down on the couch, you know.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
fun. But Daryl really moved heaven and earth for me. When really, like, the majority, I work with a lot of VTubers behind the scenes. The majority of my relationship is I support behind the scenes. Then they get what they want from me, you know, and then
Yeah.
we part ways, and you know, that's how business works. But Daryl kept going out of her way, kept giving me opportunities. She was just like, whatever I can do to get you there, Yam, you know, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. For a regular person, I'm a regular person. I mean, I may be a Batgirl, but I'm a regular person, you know?
Yeah, but like, you know, it's like with my guys, like they just put in the extra. You know, when you put in the extra, like, you know, like you don't, no one has to do that for a job. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
it's like when someone does that, there's even a name for it in economics, like two different kinds of labor.
Hmm.
You know, I forget what the terms are, but like it's the most valuable labor is the one that
Yeah.
where people are like emotionally invested. Like, and I hate to frame it in such terms as
Mhm.
business terms, because I was thinking about like how to, for even for your video essay, right? So, you know, the don't be a dick, like be a good person. You know,
Yeah.
everyone's
Yeah.
acting like they're fucking Google, like they have a monopoly where they can afford to just be assholes to their customers or to their
Mhm.
fans and all that. Like, again, I hate to put this
Yeah.
in fucking business terms, but since you're making a video essay about it, you can quote me right here.
Yeah.
Like you don't know who knows who, right?
Mhm.
Someone might have 1 million followers and they're all botted. Someone might have 300 followers, but their like uncle runs shit, you know? And I'm just taking that from Gary
Yes.
Vaynerchuk as an insight, but like, You know, like, that's the truth. So the best policy is don't be an asshole and be a good fucking person.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, go to therapy and work on it. Like, social media is social, and being a professional, especially in the arts, like, yeah, Daryl quoted for truth, it's the artist's responsibility to serve a community and to serve other people. So you better be good with people, you know? And that's something that
Right.
is a struggle. But anyway, like, I have a whole fucking rant about this, where, like, there are a lot of really good marketing and business reasons to just be a good fucking person,
Yeah.
period. And yeah, anyway, like, again, I hate to
Yeah.
frame it in those ways, but, like, maybe then people will
No.
fucking listen, because, like, it
I
is in your
mean,
best interest.
I think at least in the social media marketing realm, we call it PR, right? We call it public relations. And there are some people who are just their genuine selves, and it's great PR because they are PR friendly people. And then there are other people who have to hire a PR team just to seem like a good person, to seem like someone who is hireable, because their team, you know, their jobs are depending on that person being hireable. So it's just like this team of people who are just like trying to put these industry professionals in a good light and spin things in a positive a lot of the time, because they're actually a nightmare to work with behind the scenes.
If
So
Kathleen
you never
Battle couldn't
know.
get away with it, no one can. Like, Kathleen Battle, like, that was a fucking singer, and like, it caught up with her. Though, to be fair, I mean, I say that, but, like, you know, let's be frank, if, like, James Levine got away with some shit, and Domingo certainly did, and fortunately, from what I understand, Pavarotti did as well. So maybe if Kathleen Battle were, like, a white dude, maybe done differently. But anyway, like, but yeah, like, oh god, and the worst is, like, people have the aspiration to get away with it. Like, I want to be so good I can get away with it. How about just don't be a dick? Oh my god, why is this hard for people? Don't be a fucking asshole. Like, your video essay, I mean, it is a good point. Like, you know, like, people say, like, join communities to market yourself. Like, no, join communities to provide value, and then, like, again, just like, this can all be summarized. Don't be a dick. Just stop it. Stop being a dick. Fucking care about people. It pays off. Sorry.
Then I have to ask you, you know, because we have both been exposed to the classical realm, why do you think that, like, being a jerk is, like, the classical default?
I think there's a few reasons. I think one, it's top heavy. So the don't be a dick doesn't always work in classical music, because it's don't be a dick to the right people, and the right people are a very small group of people. You know, so it's like, you know, I had doors open for me because my approach to singing, first of all, I actually love the music, which is not always a thing. So right then and there, I ingratiated myself with like some really incredible people, because they saw in me a tone quality, and then also, like, a legitimate love for the music.
Right.
But, like, there are only a handful of people that I could really ingratiate myself with. And so when, you know, it's like, there's that, I think there's a lot of fragile egos. People get into it to be impressive, because they want validation. They want and social media is like, they want their ego and their self-confidence to be derived from adoration. Whereas in classical music, I think a lot of it stems from a validation based on confirmation of, like, you're good enough. Like, you're good enough, right? So because that's the psychology, or the psychological archetype of someone who's, like, fragile, and because all the people who cause these problems are just fragile people, right? And so the archetype of a fragile person in classical music is someone who bases their confidence entirely on their ability to do a difficult thing. And so lording it over people, that's inherently like, I am a good person because I am better than you at a thing. So it perpetuates that dynamic interpersonally when they're in that space. Whereas with social media, it's like, I have more adoration than you do, therefore I am more valuable. So it's different. So the dynamic is still present. It looks different, is the only thing.
Yeah. I could
thought
say
about this a lot.
there's... Oh, no, that's why I asked you, because when I saw your channel, and sorry that Music Box of Fate is the first time I've seen your channel, but when I was catching up, I noticed that you do have really good insight in the classical music community that I don't really have, because past community college, I did not stay in classical music, and I tried to join orchestra after, but health reasons made it so I can't really join an orchestra, so I don't have nearly as much exposure. I had a total of 4 private teachers in my life, and 2 of them were just the nicest, sweetest people, and the other 2 were like made my life, my self-confidence, my everything feel worthless. Like, I felt completely worthless. I looked back on recordings at me playing in my prime, and I was like, I was amazing, but I felt like I was the worst player. I thought I was legitimately worse then, until I actually listened to my recordings after I was out of college, and I was like, oh, I was amazing. It was just that I was being told I was worthless trash so much that I believed it.
Yeah, I had so much. I had so many tension issues because I just like all the pushing I had to do for my health to just get through.
Right.
So like you don't have, tension is a bitch. It really will fuck with your ability to hit high notes, especially torso tension.
I've heard.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So like a lot of people will say like they're better drunk. I'm like, well, fuck. I wish that worked for me. It doesn't, but because I can't.
Gosh.
Yeah, like sopranos will say that. Like, and I'm like, well, it doesn't work for me because like the physical nature of like if I'm tired, like I'm like, oh god, I don't want to fucking do what I have to do to hit this high note. Oh my god, like it's. Like I gotta like really like fucking I gotta put like run a lot of electricity through this fucking thing to really like expand the rib cage. My posture has to be like I have to really expand and fucking it's a lot.
Wow.
But yeah. But the what I love about this community in terms of the arts and listen, in creative spaces, I'm not naive to the fact that I'm going to run into some fragile people and that there's going to be some bad things in any community. But I will say, for the most part, I found this in gospel music as well. Gospel music, you are of service to a greater purpose. Like if you you don't even have to be religious to, I think, understand this. That the singers of gospel music are singing for something bigger than themselves and directly to and for their community. It is inherently humble.
Yes.
And so the level of artistry and the level of ability actually tends to be higher. Because you're not distracted by you and your needs and your ego. So you're more focused on actually the music and the delivery and the service. And that's why a lot of those singers just by and large are far more exceptional. The skill ceiling in gospel is it is insane. It is an insanely high skill ceiling.
Yes.
Skill floor too is really high as well. Gospel. It's an insane genre of singing. It's like, it's literally one of my favorite. Like when I want to freak out, I just like turn up. I'm like, it's a weird, like I'm not a religious dude at all. And I'm out here like chronically Caucasian, literally like, I just love when she just thinks about the Jesus. And I'm not even religious, but that, and I talked to Ghost about this as well. Beatboxing, there's a creative energy there, where no one's making money in beatboxing. Nobody. So they're doing it for the love of the game.
Right.
And then I get the same vibes from the VTuber community. But this is the first time, and this is, I think, one of the reasons I'm really, really interested in the space and why I was interested in opera, why I was interested in video games. It's a multi-art form, right? Like even just Starlight Darrow as a single creator has to create iconography, has to manage model, the background art, and the music.
Yes. Yep.
So visual arts, music, it's crazy. And that is pervasive in this space. The creative energy and also the level of ability is wild as well. Like I have not run into many people of the skill set of Saber and Lightshard. They're really good. Like they're
amazing.
Yeah. They're fucked up good. Yeah.
I will bring them things quite a bit, and my friend Meister, he's learned a lot from them as well. It's just great hearing people who are so dedicated and know exactly what they just throw a number. They just say, "Oh, put this number in," and then it sounds amazing. And I'm just like, "How do you do that?"
Sorry. Someone
You're all good.
Trying to like I love talking to everybody. So I like talking to you, talking to them.
I know it's
ADHD
hard
moment.
when you're in a Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
But yeah, no, like, yeah, your playing is also extraordinary. Daryl's composition, Daryl, like, you were there when she told me she didn't like read up on counterpoint, and I lost my
Right.
fucking mind. I was like, Daryl, you got to be fucking kidding me. Like, if I were a fragile person, I would
Oh.
end this interview right now. I cannot fucking fathom it. Like, yeah, my face hurts from the smiling. With how fucking much of a pleasure it is to meet
Mm.
everyone. And I expected to well, for actually, I didn't expect it all to be meeting everybody who was involved in
Mm.
Music Box of Fate. I mean, if this like keeps playing out the way it's playing out, like, I don't know, shit, I might make a video on like the people behind and the magic of and yada yada yada. But I can't do that without an interview with Mouse, and that's not, I don't think, realistic. So like, but that would be dope if it happens. But just because
Mm.
like like I know that there's a lot of love, because the foundation, from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, the fundamental
Mhm.
the origins of VTubing comes from like idol culture, right?
Right.
So there is a lot of this sort of like fandom for fandom's sake.
Yeah.
And I don't admonish that or think that that's weird or like, it can be unhealthy, but it doesn't have to be,
Uh-huh.
certainly. Um, but I'm here for the music. I'm here for the art, and the I want just for the people that like that they don't even, I think Music Box of Fate and a lot of these really powerful pieces that this community makes,
Mhm.
even like the people that are here for like, they're just here for like the fandom and for the fandom's sake and for the communities and all that stuff. I think that they would benefit a lot from knowing
Yeah.
your story, Daryl's story, Riku's story, Mouse's story.
Uh.
They know Mouse's by and large, but like, like it takes a village, and
Right.
expanding. I was talking to Ghost about this with beatboxing. I have the same sentiment with beatboxing. It should be a regular exercise to expand your ability to appreciate a thing, if you want to be good at
Mm.
it or if you want to be a part of it.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And like, I really hope, like, yeah, if I just did a bunch of fucking reacts to Iron Mouse, the view, number go up. But what am I doing
Mhm.
if I do that? Like, I have, like,
Uh.
so like, from a personal perspective, I cannot not want to talk to you for the gift that you gave me with your work on that music. I had
Oh.
to. I had to know your story, and thank you for telling it. And then on top of
Oh,
that,
well, thank you.
no, thank you. Um, Brilliant stuff, really. And then on top of that, like, I really hope people get something out of this. And there's so many storylines. I keep saying this. There should be a
Yeah.
fucking anime, like, with like fucking Wheel of Time levels of like character development, and like, and meanwhile back at the farm, that whole like story device. It's like, man, it's fascinating how this all came together and how many times it
Mm.
almost seemingly didn't. Yeah, like,
A lot of us felt out of our depth, but it just happened. At least from my perspective, I wasn't the one who like brought it all together. I wasn't Light Shard or Saber or Riku or Daryl, but from my perspective, it just like it just seemed like, oh, we may feel out of our depth, but we're gonna do it anyway. Like that was my experience.
I've sung opera for 20 years.
Mhm.
I've worked with the Philly Orchestra. I've worked with some really great people. Not once listening to Music Box Fate did I feel like anyone was out of their depth.
I'm glad.
Yeah, yeah.
I was really afraid that when the orchestra parts came out, that either the Budapest Scoring Orchestra wouldn't be able to read it, or there would be mistakes that were like audible, or someone would be comment like, who the heck wrote the parts? Like these are like just unplayable. And then it would be completely on me not realizing Daryl's vision for the piece. And then at that point, when you've already paid for the orchestra to
Too late.
record,
Yeah.
it's too late.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I think people need to hear that again. Orchestras, because you said it a little bit. You said you get 20
Hmm.
minutes. Union
Yes.
orchestras, or even world-class orchestras, they're in and out, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really don't do many more than a couple takes, if that. Like, they're sight reading it. You put the music in front of them, they just go. Maybe they have maybe they have a little bit of time to look at it in advance. Usually they don't. And then you're done, and it's a lot of money. And if you want to book them again because something went wrong, the waiting list is a long time, and it's a lot of money. Yeah. So an orchestra is an insanely expensive thing. It is mind-bogglingly expensive. The pressure you must have had is insane.
I was gonna say, I had nightmares. Like, my boyfriend can attest. I literally had nightmares where I left off a sharp or a key change on only one person's part, where then it would be like two brass players playing a half step apart, and it would be incredibly discordant, and that would be like the take. I was terrified of something like that. You can't auto-tune an orchestra.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do at that point. And then I would have to like sheepishly stop everything and be like, hey, the French horn too, could you write in an F sharp in your part really quick? Like, I was terrified of something like that happening.
Yeah. So it seems like we're good again.
Okay.
Yeah, the anxiety attacks, I can imagine.
Oh yeah. I mean, orchestra is just something where you have 50 people all together, and if one person's part isn't right, then the whole thing isn't right.
Yeah.
So it was just like I said last time we talked. I was talking to you about how one of the slurs was left out on the cello solo, and that was another part where I was just holding my breath. I was just like, oh my gosh, a mistake. That was a mistake in the part. That's not meant to be there. Luckily, he played it really well, but that's a mistake I didn't catch after combing through this thing at least 50 times. And this was a secret. This was a secret project, so I couldn't ask for anyone's help. Like, on my own, just like, I really hope that there's no huge mistakes in this score, and there's no one that I can, like, come to ask if there's huge mistakes in this score.
I didn't realize that, I didn't realize it was secret. I guess it makes sense. There is a lot of, like, secret stuff, like people... That's interesting, because, so... Given your management of stuff, like, what is the rationale of not making all this stuff public and content?
So in the VTuber community, like I said, we're based off of the idol culture, off of Hololive and everything, and there is a huge culture of secrecy, and even NDAs. NDAs are very common in this industry.
Sure.
I'm signed on to at least 8 just this year.
That's funny.
So it's so that the history is just like dropping a nuclear bomb out of nowhere and the community goes wild. That is part of VTubing culture. Taking your time to release things little by little is not the VTuber way. But I'm breaking that with my music group because I think it's personally
it's not optimal.
I understand why. But I like feedback as I go. I personally like to take my time, especially because I'm limited, right? So I can't I don't have the capacity to drop an album suddenly release an album that no one's heard of. You're gonna hear my progress because I'm someone who likes to share my progress, but with my clients, with my VTuber clients, because I'm a VTuber manager, sometimes we'll be working on something for 6 whole months and they don't say a word to their audience. So I can't talk about my work at all, other than give people tips based on what I've learned in the industry, but I can't actually talk about my work specifically at all a lot of the time, which I've gotten used to. But it can be weird if you're not a VTuber to see why is everyone secret about their identities, their projects? Why is everyone?
The identity, that's not a difficult one to understand. Plus, privacy is a wonderful thing. Among other things, like I was saying, the Daryl interview, I grew up with around one of my brother's friends, Alith, who is a phenomenal artist, a visual artist. You know what I mean? So it's there's self-expression. There are things, like Wagner can't have fucking Valkyries in opera, right? Without digital effects or something. So that makes sense to me. The question ended up becoming for me, and you answered it for sure, is the making a piece of art you know, like the creative process is in and of itself content. And also I think that
Yeah.
like I always make my shit better when these fucking amazing humans tell me, because it's just there's such fans of the work. So
Mhm.
I'm doing Music Box of Fate and they're like, the rhythm's not right there.
Uh-huh.
Or in the longer phrases, they were like, you know, that's not how it goes. And I listened to it and I listened to mine and I listened to it and I listened to mine. I'm like, yeah, but I like it. So I'm gonna keep it. But like now it's a choice to keep it. Whereas before it was just like,
Right.
you know, and I did end up re-recording some parts, and I probably will re-record some because I didn't have my mic set up like I do now.
Mhm.
And now I'm a little bit more familiar with the piece, so there's some things. Rosa was kind enough to say I can retrack some parts.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
So it's that's a wild thing to me. But
Yeah.
it does help to understand.
I think that in the VTuber industry, because you're working with huge teams of people all signed an NDA, like it's easier to like nuclear bomb drop something for the maximum amount of hype.
Fair enough. That
But
does make sense.
I legitimately encourage, because my entire YouTube channel is talking to smaller creators and people who want to have like a creative hobby rather than working in the industry.
Mhm.
I actually recommend to anyone doing anything creative is show your creative process, show your improvement as you go. Like sneak dropping a whole album is cool because it's like a power move, but we're not we're
We're
not
not
Hollow Live. We
Beyonce.
are not. Yeah, we're
Beyonce can
not
do that. We're not
any.
Beyonce. Yeah.
I think like showing your works in progress, live streaming your recording or your mixing or your mastering can actually be a way for people to appreciate your craft more than if you just like drop the album
Additionally,
6 months later.
there's something to be said about, you know, viewing the success of a piece of content in terms of the aggregate of the success. So, like, you know,
Yeah.
like the beauty of not just being a live stream and all of this automated process, which I think maybe you would. I try to get people who live stream to use my code. Literally, I'm giving them like automated video editing jump cuts. Like, just fucking click it, double click a file, and I got jump cuts for you. Like that, like magic.
Wow.
And
Mhm.
like you're like, I'm like, all right. I mean, I'll benefit. Like, you know, like not everybody watches live streams. It's my favorite.
Right.
It's my favorite
Mhm.
type of creation of content. But you know, what
Yeah.
about the people like shorts? What about the people like VODs? What about the people who like
Right.
not
Right.
React content? They want interviews. What about the people who want
Uh-huh.
music videos? Like, you know, they might
Yeah.
value me, but it's on me to deliver into the medium in which they prefer. And so, you know, like, yeah, it's just, you know, it's the
Yeah.
aggregate. It's the I like to I tell my guys we don't make videos, we make processes that make videos. And now, of course, now that we have like a nice foundation, now fuck it, we're gonna make some baller videos. But like, you know, like we can have our special projects now thanks to these fucking
Mhm.
amazing people
Mhm.
that are tuning in.
Yeah.
I'm lucky as fuck. But yeah, like we didn't need this success that we didn't need like this massive traction that we have. And of course, like, you know,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
number go down because I'm not like shitting out Iron Mouse videos. But that's okay. That's a decision. And I think
That's
that
me
matters.
too.
Mhm.
I mean, I use my channel for what I think is important, which is teaching people who are like, I want to do a creative thing, but I don't know how to execute it. And I have some like banger video essays that just like did 250,000, 500,000, like that kind of thing. I could have kept doing that, but for the sake of my health and for the sake of what I actually want to do, I'd rather continue to do like the less performing content because it actually I feel like it helps people more to break down processes and answer questions live and be there for your community in your Discord. It's less flashy, but
Yeah.
I'm a hobbyist now. Like I'm not a full-time content creator. I help creators full-time for my job, but then when it comes to my own content, I want to do the things that I'm passionate about, which is now music and just helping other creators.
Yeah. Actually, I wouldn't mind throwing this might be too much of an ask, but this video
Mm.
essay that I was trying to do on Iron Mouse is like tormenting
Uh-huh.
me.
Oh,
Because like yeah, I
it's
don't
just
want to fucking tell
call
it to you.
me.
Really?
No, call me and
Okay.
I help I help people finish their video essays all the time.
All right. Yeah, hey, fuck it, we'll do it live, right? I tried to write. So our process is usually we take my transcripts because I'm good at talking. I'm not good at writing. So like, I did improv. I was on the Temple Improv team. I actually beat out like theater. I pissed off a lot of people because I wasn't a theater kid, and I beat out a lot of theater kids to get that gig. So I was like on the improv team that like traveled and shit. And like I'm good at just talking, and I'm having a hard time constructing this one because it's touchy. The idea, the premise is that I want to talk about how special it is to be able to adapt your singing technique.
Right.
And she is the perfect catalyst. That story is the perfect catalyst, and it's interesting and it's real. She had to adapt how she sang.
Yes.
And to me, what's interesting is that it ends up being very similar to the singers of opera in the 1910s through the 1930s, maybe even a little bit later into the 1960s. And that ends
like
up
Snow White.
Well, so this is more of like that's Disney taking opera. It's Disney doing what Disney does. Disney takes that aesthetic and then kind of Disneyfies it to make it more appealing to people. But there are actually singers whose technique, like classical singers who's like legit as fuck opera singers, that was their technique. It was women were supposed to gender roles, but like it was a cool result was the goal was to sound like a bird, right?
Yes.
Mission accomplished. In a way, at least in as much as a human being, I guess, can sound like a bird. But so like the premise of the video was like Iron Mouse resurrects centuries old style of singing. That's not a false statement necessarily.
Right.
But then what's tormenting me is like I can speak generally. And I'm comfortable speaking generally. Now, it is not appropriate for me to get into specifics about Iron Mouse's condition. That's, I think, inappropriate. I'm not an immunologist, and even if I were, I wouldn't think that that's at all appropriate. So I'm having a really hard time walking the line between what is ethical and also what is interesting and what is respectful.
Got it.
And it's hard. I can talk about technique all day, but also then there's the other problem of like I'm attaching it to such a beloved story. One that I'm new to, and the nuances of it are kind of So I feel like this is like there's so many landmines, and I don't care if I lose a leg in this metaphor. But like I care about the collateral damage of hitting a landmine.
I see. So in terms of VTubers, and as someone who's is a little parallel, I say exactly the amount about my health issues that I'm comfortable with and no more when I'm live, I know that Iron Mouse has a lot of clips of her explaining exactly her
Primary
condition
source,
and what she's comfortable sharing. So what I would do is I would talk around her. I would legitimately go back and forth between you giving context musically and then her explaining her condition the way she wants to explain it. That would be the most respectful way. Because Iron Mouse, I think, honestly, I can say this very easily. Iron Mouse is one of the best VTubers when it comes to public image.